A simple village girl, rising to a position where kings tremble at the mere mention of her name. A young captive whose strength grew so extraordinary that ancient traditions, royal laws, and imperial pride bowed before her. This is not a legend. This is the true story of Hürrem Sultan, the woman who entered an empire in chains and left it wearing a crown. The year was 1520. Near Rohatyn, in the peaceful lands of Ruthenia, today's western Ukraine, lived a delicate 16-year-old girl named Alexandra Lisovska. Locals called her Roxolana, daughter of Roxolania. She had deep green eyes, reflecting the endless forests around her. One hot night, Crimean Tatar raiders struck her village. Flames devoured homes, screams echoed through the night, and Alexandra was dragged from her bed, thrown onto a horse, and taken away. First sold in the slave markets of Kaffa, then carried across the Black Sea to the great city of Istanbul, she lost her family forever. When the gates of Topkapi Palace opened for her, Alexandra, as she was gone. She was given a new name, Hürrem, the one who smiles even in hardship. Her smile was not born of joy, but of understanding. To survive, she had to be more than a survivor. She had to rule. Inside the Sultan's harem, velvet curtains hid daggers, whispers concealed conspiracies, and beauty was a merciless competition. Over 300 women lived there, each vying for the attention of Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent. At that time, his favorite was Mahidevran Sultan, mother of the heir Mustafa. Hürrem seemed insignificant for now, but everything changed one dark night in 1521. The Sultan, weary from battle, requested music. Hürrem was sent to play the oud. Her fingers danced across the strings, singing a sorrowful Ruthenian melody that pierced the Sultan's heart. She looked into his eyes and whispered, "My Sultan, even the brightest moon has its night of darkness." That night, Hürrem entered the Sultan's private chambers and never returned to the common quarters. By morning, Mahidevran attacked her in a rage, leaving scratches and blood in what history calls the Battle of the Cats. Hürrem, bleeding but unbroken, whispered, "Touch me again, and you will never see your son's face again." Mahidevran was sent away. Hürrem was playing not a game of love, but a game of power. Ottoman law forbade a sultan from marrying a slave concubine. 4 centuries of tradition, Hürrem shattered every boundary. By 1533, after giving birth to 5 children, including 4 princes and the clever Princess Mihrima, she demanded 2 things, her freedom and her marriage. Suleiman did not hesitate. She was freed, embraced Islam formally, and crowned in a private ceremony at Topkapi. Europe was stunned. Venetian ambassadors wrote, "The Sultan has married his slave. The world has turned upside down." She became Haseki Hürrem Sultan, the first and only woman of her rank. Hürrem built hospitals, mosques, and public kitchens. She and Mihrima supported the magnificent Suleymaniye Mosque, second only to Hagia Sophia. She corresponded with kings and queens across Europe, Sigismund of Poland, Francis I of France, Isabella of Spain. Europeans called her Roxolana the Witch, but in the palace, she was simply the lady. When the Sultan went to war, Hürrem ruled Istanbul. Grand viziers answered to her. Decisions were shaped by her will. Her enemies were exiled, poisoned, or erased from history. Yet power came at a cost. Her son Cihangir, born with a curved spine, died of grief after Mustafa, Mahidevran's son, was executed by Suleiman. Hürrem never wept in public. Only one maid heard her whisper, "For my children, I turned into a beast." In April 1558, after 38 years at the empire's heart, she fell gravely ill. Some said poison, others suspected cancer. In her final moments, she held the Sultan's hand and said, "My Sultan, do not bury me far from you." Suleiman wept. Hürrem was laid to rest behind the Suleymaniye Mosque, closer to Suleiman than any woman had ever been. 8 years later, when he died, he was buried beside her. Their tombs still stand, touching. She ignited the Sultanate of Women, a century where veiled queens shaped the destiny of the Ottoman Empire. Kozum, Turhan, Rabia all walked the path Hürrem carved. A girl sold for a handful of coins, who rose to become a woman who changed laws, altered empires, and redirected history itself. This was Hürrem Sultan, the slave who became a queen who never forgot the darkness from which she had risen.